Hey guys, I'm out here training once again as I prepare for my upcoming 50-mile ruck march on November the 16th, 2024. I was thinking, you know what, this might be a good time to drop a little bit of knowledge on people. And when I think about the priorities of how to plan to successfully complete a 50-mile ruck march, the thing that pops into my mind is potentially the most important is your nutrition or your food, or how much to eat. This is something I think a lot of people don't understand or don't take seriously enough, because most of your training and most of your exercise, it's actually not a big deal. You don't have to eat during it. I can tell you that when I train, when I go out and do my normal 5, 6, 7, 8, even 12-mile rucks in training, my nutrition is not super important. And I don't actually follow my normal rules of nutrition while I'm doing those shorter rucks. And I can tell you that when I'm done, I usually have one hell of a headache. The reason I have a hell of a headache is because I didn't consume enough calories during that training event. It's not a big deal, because then I can go home, I can eat a whole bunch of food, sit on my ass, and I'll be good for a little while. When you're doing 50 miles, once you start to develop that headache and you realize you haven't consumed enough calories, it's already too late. You're already kind of in the throes of bonking out, and you're not going to be able to complete that event. So in order to prevent that from happening, by my estimations, I've seen some other people say this on the internet too, I think you need to have between 40 and 60 grams of carbohydrates per hour that you're out there going. So what is 40 to 60 grams of carbohydrates? For me, well, I mean, like a Cliff Bar is 42 grams of carbohydrates, I believe. A lot of your carbohydrate gels, those are going to be 20 grams of carbohydrates. So you could, let's see, 18 hours, well, that'd be 18 Cliff Bars you'd have to eat during a 50-mile ruck, or 36 energy gels during that same ruck. Now the problem is, if you eat Cliff Bars, if you eat 18 Cliff Bars, those things are a great source of carbohydrates, but they're kind of slow digesting. You get all those grains and stuff in your belly. If you eat 18 of those, you're gonna have a full belly full of grains, and you are not gonna feel very good. By the time you finish that 50 miles, you're gonna have to go sit on a toilet. You're gonna be there for a very long period of time. Then you look at the energy gels, 36 energy gels over an 18-hour period. That's enough to make a grown man cry. I think you'd be puking your guts out. You definitely have the runs. It would not be a very pleasant experience. So how do I overcome these challenges of getting enough carbohydrates in for that long period of time? The thing that I did last year, I'm going to do again this year, is I'm going to take peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwiches. And by my estimation, well, the other thing I'm going to do is I don't make my sandwiches with whole wheat bread. I actually make my sandwiches with white bread, like Wonder Bread, like cheap ass white bread. Those cheap ass white bread, pieces of white bread, it's 20 grams of carbohydrates per piece of bread. You put 2 on a sandwich, that's 40 grams. Put a little bit of banana on there and honey. Next thing you know, you got yourself 60 grams of carbohydrates in one sandwich. The other thing with that cheap ass white bread, it's very easy to digest. You swallow that stuff, goes into your belly, and it dissolves, and it's not sitting there like a rock. So last year, when I went on the 50-mile ruck, I actually took 12 or 14 of those sandwiches. I can't remember, I didn't eat them all. But I also took a large assortment of gels, gummies, goos, all that kind of stuff. And as I walked, every 30 minutes I ate something. Either I'd have an energy gel, or a couple of those gummies, or half a peanut butter sandwich. And every hour, at least one of my snacks was half a sandwich. Some of the hours, I would eat a whole sandwich. But every 30 minutes, I was eating something for the entire 18-hour event. And I noticed at the end, I actually felt really good. Besides my feet hurting, my knees hurting, I didn't have the focus problems or that lack of energy that I expected to have by the end of the I'm going to call it I don't want to call it a race, the event. Now, one thing I will say that I'm trying to find a proper solution to is the fact that you're eating that many sweets for that long period of time. So one of the things I'm going to do to counter that is I'm actually going to bring a toothbrush. I'm going to bring a toothbrush this year. I think every couple hours, I'm going to brush my teeth. And then there was something else that happened that was actually quite miraculous. My younger brother came with us last year for the final 25 miles. And the nutrition that he brought with him was a big Ziploc bag full of leftover pizza. He had some pepperoni pizza from the night before, and that's what he brought in his ruck. And when we got into like mile 40, he offered me a couple pieces of pizza. And I tell you what, that was an absolute lifesaver. So when you're preparing for an event like that, you need to make sure that you bring a very large amount of easy to digest carbohydrates, that you eat them very regularly. I recommend every 30 minutes putting some kind of calories in your mouth. Very small meals. Half of a peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwich is not a lot of food. It's a very small amount of food. And then periodically, and the route that we do goes to gas stations and stuff, have something that's got a little bit of fat. Maybe it's got a little bit of spicy and salty in there, to kind of even out your palate so you just don't get sick of eating the same thing for all of those hours, because eating sweets can be quite tiresome. If I had to say the number one or most important factor of completing the 50-mile ruck, it's going to be the nutrition and those things that are recommended to you. So if you're going to go out on a 50-mile ruck, pack a absolute ton of peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwiches. Make sure you use cheap white bread or potato bread.